at this stage? Why is my customer farm base still at this stage? That's diagnostics. After that, we have what we call predictive. Predictive will now be able to help you to know what to do for future worth, for future decision. And we have lastly, we have what we call prescriptive. Prescriptive is now, okay, if I want to get this result, let's say for instance, I want to make my revenue from 500 million per year annually to like 10,000 million or 60,000 million, any amount, what will I do? That is prescriptive. So that one will help you. That is the second thing. Then you will know your target customer better and what to do in terms of new products launch, new expansion of market size. All these things reduce operational costs. With data analysis, you'll be able to minimize costs and improve what efficiency. Better problem solving methods. You get more accurate data. You get valid information. You don't work by rumors anymore. You don't work by feelings. Feelings don't do business. Emotion don't run business. You need data. You need information. And one thing I've observed in my experience in this industry over the years is that, especially with startup, the data is there. In fact, we are working on a solution with my with one of the companies in my hometown. The solution is just like all these hotel people. When we approach them, we observe that those people that come to them, they just come, they patronize them fine. But the customer that patronizes you today, the person has something to like a feedback. So the customer don't really have where they can put their feedback. And how can you use this feedback to take that business to the next point? All these things is lacking seriously, especially in the small, medium scale businesses. So this is where data analysis comes in to help you to gather. The first thing is ability to collect the data. That I will still get to that data gathering. After you gather this data, some business that have moved past the, let's say the stage of being small to like a medium or like a large, fairly large, their own problem is different from ability to gather. They gather, but they don't know what to do. Because let's say, for instance, data in its raw form does not make any sense. You will just be seeing numbers. You don't know what they represent. So you can see that the problem is in different forms. The startup they don't even know how to gather. But let's say the large company, fairly large, they know how to gather. They gather, but they don't even know what to do with it. This is where you come in as a data analyst. Ability to be able to gather for those that needs to gather and give what genuine insights for decision making on what data that is what made available. All right, so now you can work across type of data analyst. You can work across a range of areas, including business intelligence. So let me quickly make a distinction between these fields. Now, let me put everything under data science. Yes, because all these things still goes down under data science. Data science is just the nomenclature that covers all of these fields. Now, when we talk about data analyst now, which is under data science, now we can have separated areas by which you can engage. We have the business intelligence section, and the business intelligence, what makes them different a bit from the data analyst solely is just that now they are very much interested in bringing business values, that is generating quick insight from data. They are not really interested in the science part of what data is all about. That is why we have different tools. By the time we get to the tools, now you will see which tools is built specifically for each of these purposes. So because those that design the tool, they understand that, okay, business intelligence person, what is it after? What's the person looking for? So it's just quick insight from large set of organization. A lot, they like graphs, they like images, they like infographics. So we have the business intelligence person, we have the data assurance person, we have the data quality assurance person, we have the finance analyst, we have the higher education analyst, we have the market analyst, we have the sales analyst. So these are the areas by which a data analyst can operate, because in all these fields, number one thing that connects you is that you need data. And once you have data, you need to understand how data can be operated on. You really need, because data can exist in different forms. You really need to understand what form of data we have, what forms can data exist, how to work and really, let me say, permutate things, combine different data, aggregate different data to get or to drive proper insight. All right. Now let's talk about data analysis process. The first thing that is the most important is data gathering. So ability to gather data. The second thing is what we call data wrangling. So data wrangling is just that, okay, after you gathered, because when you gather data, it depends on the source by which you gather the data from. That would depend, that is what will determine the quality. Yes, we have in the theory of data, we have what we call quality data and the non-quality data. Yes, just imagine somebody working or produce analysis based on non-quality data. Let's just take a picture, or let's take a view of what kind of decision or outcome such person is going to end up with. So if we have quality data, definitely we have non-quality. So these are the things that you will learn under data gathering section. So we have the data wrangling. Data wrangling now means that, okay, when you gather the data and the data has some non-quality issue, how do you make amendments? How do you transform? How do you arrange? And we have something we call schemas. Schemas is just like, okay, for instance, now, what tools are you going to use to process the data? So if you have a predefined tool that you want to use to process the data, definitely you need to make the data to correspond to that particular schema or particular tool that you are. So that is just about data wrangling. So under the data wrangling process, we have the data assessment. So you assess for quality issue, you assess for tidiness issue, and all these things. And we have the data cleaning and transformation. After you've assessed for quality and tidiness issue, then you find a way moderate and change all these things. And after that, the last thing there is data loading or storage. And I don't know if you've ever came across the word ETL before. ETL means what? Extract, transform, and load. So it's under this analysis process. So loading means that, okay, by the time you've wrangled, you've assessed, you've cleaned properly, then you need to be able to store. Now, let's say, for instance, if you go to Kaggle now, you have a lot of data there. So those people, what they're doing essentially is just the ETL process. That is, when they go to extract, maybe from web, from database, from anywhere, they extract the data. By the time they extract, they will transform, they will go through these stages of wrangling. By the time they assess, they clean, they transform, they now load. So you can load to probably a spreadsheet or load to a database. So by the time you load it, now the data is like in a clean state, not totally clean, but it's in a clean state that people can be able to access. Then you can now proceed your work from there to start the analysis process. So that is that about data analysis. Now let's talk about the tools for data analysis. Now I divided the tools, or the tools are divided into two parts. We have the programming tools and we have the non-programming tools. So if we talk about the programming tools, so what tools are we really talking about? So anything that involves programming involves writing of codes. You write a lot of codes, syntax, and all these things. So, but under the programming tools, we have the Python there, we have the R there, we have the MATLAB there. So all these things are what they are referred to as what a programming tool, something that needs coding, something that involves coding. So, and let me say this. There is I know possible questions might be, what's the difference between all these two? Now, there are differences. Fine, there are differences. Yes, and that although by the time we go into the training section proper, you will get to understand some of the big differences between them, because we have what we call ease of use of language, because the design goal for each of these tools are different. The design goal for Python is different from R. and the design goal for MATLAB is different from the two. So which means that by the time you are using, the design goal is going to really speak in this the sense of ease of use, or it depends on some certain condition, which I'm not going into here. So we have all these things. They are very efficient for data analysis, engagement, and for the non-programming. Now, in the non-programming section, we have the Excel. Excel is a non-programming tool that can do data analysis job. Power BI, very fantastic tool there that comes under the heading of business intelligence. So if you want to go into business intelligence proper, that is those that just care about, let's give the infographics. Let's use graph to make this, to give insight, quick insight, generates quick insight. You're not really interested in the science, so to say. So all these tools are powerful. Power BI is very powerful. Tableau is very powerful. Looker, all these are very powerful tools that can easily work on your data and generate quick and good insight. So now, before I open some of the tools to show you some of the things that you will walk you through during the training proper. Now let's talk about, I can't but mention this. It's very essential, benefit of data analyst. Now the benefit is just so enormous that I can't just start describing it. Although in this slide, I just put the monetary one there, and this is according to, I put the source there, the prospect in UK. You can see it for the entry level, for those that are at the mid-level, and for the senior level. So you can see the price range, the salary range. But one thing that I would like to say beyond the money or above money is just the flexibility. This field gives you a lot of flexibility. You have flexibility to decide on your own working time. And that is what makes it very interesting. If you are if you are that person that doesn't like maybe 9-to-5 job that doesn't have value for you, I mean, what you just need is just your internet connection, working laptop, and just like a secluded place with table and chair. That's all. You are just doing your work with ease. That is one of the things I enjoy most personally. I'm speaking personally. So if that does not interest you, no problem. Look at the salary fits, look at the flexibility, look at the strength, the solution you are providing. Because let me say it frankly speaking, based on experience, it's just a word of providing solution to people's problem. And number one problem, like I said when I started, is decision making. Decision making in the face of little resources. How do you help me to optimize my resources? How do I make this? What will I do? Everybody, that's the question on the lips of every man. What will the next hour bring? What will be the next future? What will be my next profit? Where will the next customer comes from? What does my customer need? What is the agitation? What is the advocacy of my part? So all these questions are in the mind of the business people. And in fact, if for an individual, you have the business of, okay, what career should I choose? So these are problems that people are going or passing through daily, and which this field is just trying to bring solution. Yes, bring solution. So, and humorously speaking, I will just close this section before I move on to show you some of the things that has been outlined for your satisfaction during the course of the training. And it said one of our professor, when he mounted the podium one day like that to deliver a speech on the importance of, he was actually talking about statistics, but they kind of borrowed the statement of that day into data science, because what data science is doing is, in fact, is taking statistics to an advanced stage. That is data science, just taking it to an advanced level. So he said the statistician, the magician, and the prophets, they are doing the same work. So everybody was just laughing that what does, so, and he was trying to explain that what does the prophet stands for? To tell you the future, to give you solution to your problem. Same thing, magician, using their own strength. Same thing, statistics or data science. That is what we do. Just give solution to people's problems. So let me quickly open some of these tools. We don't have much, so let me show you. Let me just go to this non-programming too. So if you are the person, if you are that person that doesn't like anything programming always make you sick or feel uncomfortable, and then there's no problem. We have the non-programming aspect of data analysis or data science that is just use of your mouse to click, drag, drop, and do things that is fantastic. Yes, very, very, very fantastic. So I'm going to close this screen now and bring up my Power BI screen to show you some of the things that you can do real quick on with your software. Is my screen showing?
Yes, very much so.
All right, so okay, so this is just my Power BI screen. Look at this UK University dashboard. This is the power of your software. When you have the data in its raw form, you can't see this beautiful thing. You'll just be seeing numbers, you'll just be seeing figures, you'll be seeing alphabet, everywhere will be boring. There is no action, there is no decision, everything. So that is just the problem that is the mind of the business people. They have the data, they don't know what to do with it. But look at this now. From this, I can know how many total universities do we have in the UK. We have 31, yes, based on the data, and we have 5%, 5 private compared to 126 public universities in the UK. So these are the list, and you can interact with this. You can quickly go through, okay, let me say York Jones University in the UK. Let me look at the minimum ITLS score for someone that wants to come to the university is 5.5. So the number of fees for postgraduates, average fee, this is around £10,000 to £14,000. So you can look at all these things. So this is what we call quick insights. This is what the non-programming tools is going to give you, ability to generate quick insights. And you can see now that, let's say, for instance, this one is number one thing in analysis process is you know your audience, your consume, some of the people that will consume your analysis is very, very important. And this is what we will teach you during the course of this lecture, because we need to, we are not, and let me say this, like Mr. Bakari rightly said, we are not teaching you as a tool user. No, we are going to take you the theory, the elementary state of what data analysis entails. So these are the things you are going to get, because another thing that is very important that I need to address here is that, fine, if you watch YouTube videos, let me say if you start watching YouTube videos from like 3 weeks now, you'll be able to produce something very similar or close to this based on the videos that you've watched. But I can bet it with you, you might not really understand some of the nitty-gritty, that is, okay, the science behind this thing. Like, okay, at this point, what is the right interpretation, or what is the right report statement to write concerning this? YouTube might not go into the extent of giving you all those ones. And let me say one thing. Let me show another one like this one now. If you look at the data transformation process, because the data set was not outrightly clean in its raw form. So there are a lot of processes, transformation, cleaning, wrangling that went behind the scene before you can see this screen showing up. So these are the things that you might not fully get in. So that is why trainings like this are very, very important to teach you from the very basic point to the point whereby you can also stand on your own and sharing the solution to people's problem, that is giving solutions to people's problem. So I will not be able to go to Python this evening because that one is just like very, very, very interesting and beautiful software there. Anything programming is interesting. And let me tell you, the difference is just that with programming, you have a lot of ability to customize what you can do there. Although this one you are working with although Power BI is flexible at a point, but it cannot be as flexible as a programming tool. So that is just the cutting edge that a programming tool has over this and non-programming tool. So I think, this is just a tip of the iceberg. This is not even this is just a tip. The training will take you thoroughly through the essentials of data analysis and teach you the science of data, how to work with data, how to manipulate it, how to process, how to aggregate, how to transform, how to do Power Query, all these things, right? So those are the things that the training is going to give to you. So permission to drop my screen and hand over to Mr. Bakare. So if there is any question, I will be very much available to take the questions.
Okay.
Mr. Bakare, are you there?
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Mr. Shegun. So far so good. I think you've done a good job to introduce to us what data analysis is, who is a data analyst, and I will want to open the floor for anyone who has a question. So far so good, based on what Mr. Shegun has said so far. Do we have any question? I'll be allowing us to unmute ourselves. Yes, please, you can unmute yourself or signify if you do have any questions. So far so good.
Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Iwan, I'm with you.
So just to check, he mentioned there's the Python, the coding he mentioned, and then there's the other one of the Power BI and all that. So am I right to assume that the Power BI and the Excel, this one you kind of confined as to how could you use the data? Well, with the Python one, you could define the data yourself by writing the codes or something. So is that the difference between using the tool and using the other ones available?
Okay, if I get you well, you're asking, well, what is the major difference between Power BI and Excel and then Python, right?
Yes, and then using the Python codes, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Shegun, did you get that?
All right, thank you for the question. Very interesting question. Now, this is the difference between Excel. Let me start with Excel and Power BI. Now, Excel is a very fantastic software that has been in existence for so many years. Yes, and Excel can do a lot of things, But one of the limitations of Excel is that Excel does not really have the modern, let me say, visualization tool. Yes, Excel does not have modern visualization tool and some modern functions that you can quickly use to transform and aggregate your data. That is where Power BI comes in. Power BI is coming in with some modern visualization tool. If you look at this thing that the screen I showed you the other time, two things are involved there. Number one, although Excel can do what I have there, but if you want to use Excel to do that thing, you have to take a lot of time. It will take you a lot of time because Excel does not have this modern, there is this what we call the modern visualization tool. Because now in that what you are saying, number one, we have data transformation behind the scene. Number two, we have something like creating of shapes and buttons, that can interact with everything on your, and two, we have the analysis. Number three, we have the analysis itself. So you can see that there are a lot of things coming in to make, it's just like Power BI is just like a sophisticated tool. that works on the limitation of Excel to give you a very, very seamless experience working with data analysis. Now, talking about Python, you can't compare a programming language with a non-programming, in the sense that with Python, you can write your own function, customized function that can work on a particular operation. We call it automation. I can set up an automation. Now, let me say, for instance, I have a particular, I'm working with a company, and the type of data they used to bring every month is just the same. It's just kind of the same data, the same structure. I just need to work on some little things to give the analysis and the report. So in such a case, you need a programming language to be able to design a function that can work as an automation, so that when the data comes, you don't need to.
I think I've lost you there.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Shagun, we can't hear you. While we wait for him to come back.
Yeah, I think I get it, Fuji. So if I understand what he's saying, so I think, so obviously, what's got the other one? So we've got Excel, and then the other one, after Excel, Power BI. So Power BI has more function what Excel does.
Yeah.
So the Python one, that one gives the ability to run the report of some of the VIA codes.
Yeah, VIA codes.
Power BI, where you have to go in there, we do it manually and all that.
And
if you know the programming language, you might be able to do that via Python.
Yes, and then there's the flexibility it gives. Okay, you can be extremely granular. You can, because it's quite vast and malleable, you can easily tune it to do what you want, rather than being confined to what is available, unlike Excel and Power BI. So with a programming language, you can actually write your own codes to do
so basically
what you want.
Okay, so use Python to bypass any limitation you may have on Power BI.
Thank you very much. That is the.
I guess the question then come down to, so for someone who's not very good in Excel and Power BI, would you guys do you need to go learn that first, or would this a part of the story you guys will show doing the training to teach them, or would they have to go have?
Hello, can you hear me? Sorry about my.
Yeah, Mr. Shagun, welcome back. Before you come back on, I'll quickly, Mr. Iwona is
yes,
trying
sorry,
to.
my network. I was trying to make my last point before the network got disrupted. Now, I want to specifically mention, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Okay, Mr. Shagun, are you there? Okay, he's gone again. Okay. Okay, Iwona, I was
Yes, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you. Mr. Shagun, can you hold on for a minute, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, Mr. Iwona did ask a question, so let me quickly
Actually, my name is Banji Boy. It's my wife. I'm trying to get it for. So.
Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, great. Banji, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, Banji. Okay, so we are offering a training that is going to cover both Excel and Power BI, and then we'll gravitate into or grow into Python, all for data analysis. Okay, so we're definitely going to start from advanced Excel, and then move into Power BI, and then move into Python for data analysis. So if you're good with Excel and Power BI, it's good. You nobody's an encyclopedia of knowledge. You still learn something. There's always something to learn, and then we'll move into Python.
Right. So if I understand, one will need a basic knowledge of Excel then, because if not, without that, you need to be the advanced side.
Yes, for this class, I would say you should have basic, day-to-day usage of Excel. You don't even need to be a power user. If you can write equals to 2 plus 2, one cell plus to another cell, you can add two cells together. That is all we need. We'll take it up from there into Power BI and then into Python. Okay, Mr. Shegun, before I kicked you off earlier on, where are you still on? Okay, great.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, you can go on, sir. You were going to make a last statement earlier on before the network threw you out.
Okay, yes. I was just trying to explain that. Okay, what, let me say, the main difference of Power BI between Power BI and Python is just that Power
Oh,
concentrating on the visualization part. So, let me say, a great flexibility in the sense that in Power BI, you can run your Python script. You can write a script in Python, then run it in Power BI. So now Power BI is concentrating majorly on visualization, where Python can do, although Power BI can still do some things, where Python can do more. So, which means that at this training, if you are learning Advanced Excel, Power BI, Python, you are learning some fantastic tools under data analysis.
okay, great. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Shegun, and thank you very much, Mr. Banji. Any other questions so far? So good. Mr. Ikemefuna, were you going to ask a question? You are muted because I suspected you were talking. Oh, okay, you're still muted.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you now loud and clear.
Thank you. Actually, this is a very interesting program, but I feel lost entirely because I was most interested in data analysis matter, but I didn't know the depth of it, and I don't know. I was just hoping that it's going to start from the basics, you know. So, but the language you guys are speaking here is beyond me, and so yeah, but it's kind of opened my eyes, even without my any prior knowledge about data analysis and so on. It would have been, you know, I'm just not not flowing with the
Okay.
yeah. So and again, I was going to ask, what is it? Are we? Because I thought it was a school that is presenting this program
Okay.
as a free course or something like that.
Okay.
So I don't know whether you can explain further.
Okay. Okay. So first, let me take it from the second from your second statement. Yes, it's a training institute. We offer training, and then like the name of the session says, it's a taster session. A taster session is to open our eyes to what the course will offer if you do want to go ahead to take the course. Okay, so for this course, we are offering training on data analysis with focus on three main data analytics tools, mainly Excel, Power BI, and then Python. Okay. Someone asked. I'm going to answer your question, Lawrence. I've seen your question, and we have we are going to be taking it from, like I said, from the point of Excel, which is like an entry point into data analysis. We all use Excel at some point, I mean, to present our data, maybe a sales analysis for a group of sales reps for a number of weeks or for a number of months. We can manipulate that data, I mean, transpose and to present something beautiful, to get information, insight from that data. So what we're going to be doing during the course of this class is to take us from that point as an Excel power user, to apply Excel to data analysis, right from the basics to the expert level. Then we go to Power BI. We take it from the basics to the expert level, and then we go to Python, and then we take it from the basics to advanced level. Okay, so that is what we are designing this training for. So what we are doing right now is a taster sessions to open our eyes to what data analytics is, and what we are going to be covering in that course if you do want to take the course with us. Okay, at the end of the course, at the end of the training, you come out a champion, a data analysis champion, and we also offer you a certificate of training. Okay, of course, anybody can give you a certificate. The most important thing is at the end of it all, you are able to do what you say you can do, which is what we are going to be preparing you for and training you on. That is what we do. And the name of the organization itself is TechLuster Associates.
Okay.
So I was trying to, I'm going to Mr. Lawrence question. I was trying to, Mr. Shegun, please, do you have the course content with you? I can't seem to find it on my system.
Yes, let me check my file.
Okay, please, if you do have the course content with you, can you just share your screen for me, please? Okay, I think I found it. Course outline. Okay, great. I found it. So I'll be sharing my screen. Okay, so okay, so for Mr. Lawrence's question, this is what we are going to be covering in the whole class. I'm going to start from the bottom. The duration is we're going to be having Excel, Power BI. I don't know why I keep trying to say PowerPoint. This is Power BI, not PowerPoint. Okay, so we're going to be having Excel for 2-week sessions, twice a week, 2-hour sessions per class. That's going to last for 2 weeks, and then we'll move into Power BI, and then we'll move into Python. So give or take, it's about give or take a 3-month sessions. We'll have 2 sessions a week, 2 hours per session, and we're going to cover these topics for Excel, advanced Excel. So we're going to cover from functions and formulas, numeric functions. Like I told you earlier on, if you can do 2 + 2 in Excel, that is where we're going to start from. So mostly like the basics. Okay, so we're going to start from there to charting, to pivot tables, to Power Queries, creating dashboards in Excel, and doing statistical analysis, what if analysis, test, correlation test, and stuff. So from there, we'll move on to Power BI, and we'll start from the basics of Power BI. We'll move on to BI. There means business intelligence. Okay, so we'll go from the overview down to the interface, managing the interface, using functions. I mean, basically introducing us to using Power BI and doing a few things, web query, data research, and then creating dashboards, which is the ultimate. Which we saw a dashboard that Mr. Shegun had created earlier on, that he was working on, the university dashboard. So creating something like that so that we can make business, we can bring out business intelligence from the data that we have. So we'll also be doing that using Power BI, and then we'll move on to Python, right from the basics of Python, which is a programming language, but we'll be adapting it for data analytics. Okay, so right from launching your application and working with numbers. What is a number? What is a string? the expressions, conversions, and working with variables, with types of data structures, modules, loading your modules, working with libraries, and importing packages and modules. So we'll be moving from the basics to the advanced level. While working on data, how it applies to data analysis. So this is what we are going to be covering throughout the length of the course. Okay, so I'll push this out to everybody's mail if you are interested. Okay, and to the other question that was asked by Mr. Lawrence, what is the cost duration for those of us that in UK, the cost of this training, being a 3-month course, is $399. Okay, so that is what is going to cost us. We can, once you register, then we can talk about other things. Okay. Okay, sorry. Mr. Lawrence, you said you got some additional question. Is Power BI an open free source software, or do you have to pay for it? Mr. Shegun. Mr. Shegun. Is Mr. Shegun on? Mr. Shegun, are you on?
Yes, now is yes. Hello.
Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you now. Good.
Yes,
So
you can hear me now.
yes.
Yes. Responding to the question now is both. So we have what we call Power BI for desktop, and we have what we call Power BI service. Power BI desktop is open source and is free, which means that you can download on your system and you can be working on the desktop. But for Power BI for service means that by the time you want to share, if you want to share your dashboard, maybe we are working on a project, we're working in a company, so you need to share your reports with people so that you can interact with it. You need a paid version of it. So, but one thing about it is that they don't really license an individual like that. They license like as an organization. So we have Power BI for service and we have Power BI desktop. So desktop is free, but service needs what subscription. That's just the difference between the two.
Okay. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Lawrence. Okay. Because I deploy Office 365, Microsoft 365, and I know there are some deployments that I've done that we have licenses that comes along with the seat. So that was why I wanted him to answer, because I have not really used an individual Power BI individual, but as a licensed Microsoft 365 deployment, I know, yes, it comes with the license. So as you have heard, there's a free desktop version, but if you're going to use the service, it needs to be licensed and as an organization. Okay, what times are the training sessions going to be? That is going to be decided by the participant, the registrants for the course. We have options for Wednesdays and Fridays, and we have options for Fridays and Saturdays. So it's going to be flexible. And when I say flexible, I know some of us do go to work, and so we will find a balance for everybody that registers for the course. Okay, any other question? Thank you, Abimbola, for that question. Okay, any other question?
Yeah, so just to check, so we're just saying the tool that is needed for this data analysis is just Excel, Power BI, or Python. Are there any other tools that one needs to be wary of that is being used to complete tasks, for a data analyst?
Yes, I will say yes. But I'll allow Mr. Shegun to answer that question. Mr. Shegun, are there any other tools that is worthy of note when it comes to data analysis?
Yes, the answer is yes. There are other tools, but the thing is just like a duplication of responsibility. What do I mean by that? What Python can do, R can do. The only thing, like I said during the training section, is that the design goal for the two is quite different. Now, the design goal for R is designed primarily for statistical implementation, anything around statistics. That is what R is designed for primarily. But Python is designed beyond that. With Python, you can do extra things. You can even do web development in Python. So it's just about design goal. So the answer is yes, but one thing is that you don't need to worry if you understand. For instance, now, if for the programming aspect, if I understand Python very well, I can do 99% of data analysis job without stress. The most important thing is that I understand the language, I understand how it works, and I understand how to manipulate it. If for non-programming for the Power BI, if I understand Power BI, fine. Tableau and Power BI, they are just like almost the same thing, doing the same thing, but the design goal is different. So, but if I understand Power BI, can I do 99% of what a data analyst person or business intelligence person can do? The answer is yes. So the main thing is just pick a software and make sure you learn and learn and learn thoroughly. Because I bet it with you, you can't even finish exhausting the software before you even dream of moving to another, because that software, we have a lot of things there for you to learn.
No, thanks. So what sort of ID is being used for the Python? Hello?
What sort of
ID.
what sort of ID?
Environment is the Python be used for the coding.
Okay, yes. Now when we talk about most of this programming software, they are open source, which means that you can use a lot of IDLEs. Now, but for Python, for this program, we'll be using the Anaconda and the Jupyter environment. And the reason why is because they create something we call, especially the Anaconda, you have access to a lot of libraries pre-installed with it that you don't need to start running to install when you need them. So let's say, for instance, for the basic library, you have like 60% of them pre-installed in Anaconda. So that is why most times in training like this, we always like to use Anaconda distribution and the Jupyter environment. So that's the ideally we'll be using for this Python.
So I mentioned all these are open source and we don't need to pay for this Anaconda. It's something we would have access to.
At all, they are open source. You don't need to pay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Kemefuna, I saw you, I think it's off, so I'll reach him later on. So any other question? We've spent about 1 hour already, and I understand this is a weekend and people will need to go to rest. Any last question before we go? Okay, so in the absence of any question, I have taken time to introduce to us. I think we've done a good job. Like my friends will say, I hope with these few points of ours, we've been able to convince you and not confuse you. I'm even confused myself. And not confuse you that data analysis is a way forward, is the future, and it's worth the while taking or having adequate training in this in the regards of data analysis. So I will be dropping a registration link. If you think that if you so desire to get this training with us, I would like you to to register. Oh, I thought to register via this link. I have dropped the link in the chat box. That will be the registration link for the data analytics training proper. Like I said, as you have seen, we'll be taking this course right from the basics of Excel to the very advanced level of Python programming for data analytics. Okay. I want to thank everybody for taking time out to be at this session. I want to thank my colleague, Mr. Shegun. He's done a wonderful job. And I want to thank everybody once again for coming. I think it's a safe place to call it a night. If you do have any other queries, questions, you can reach me via my email. I'm going to drop my email in the box, in the chat box. Or my personal private email. You can also reach me via that, my Gmail. I'll be sure to respond to your queries. Without much ado, I'll be looking to hear your feedbacks via text message, if you got my text message, via email, if you got my email, or you can just go ahead and make your registration for the course. I will be waiting to hear from you. Thank you very much. It's a wrap.